So once you've done your sun salutations, you work through the other fun poses, we have a few more standing poses that we want to share with you. So, first one that we're going to do is called triangle pose, and you'll see really quickly why it's called triangle pose, or Trikonasana. So triangle pose, all we're going to do is we're going to bring our feet hip width apart. Good, and say that you're coming from chair pose. We just learned about chair pose. Good, and maybe you did big toe posture. You can lift all the way up, bring the hands back down to center, and you move immediately into triangle pose. So you're going to bring your feet just about 4 feet apart. Good. If you're a little bit shorter, try 3 feet. But find a comfortable distance between those feet. You're both facing in the right direction, or in the forward direction. Good. Inhale, bring those arms all the way up. And all you're going to do is slowly begin to bend forward, both arms. Good. Now you'll notice you'll begin to get tight here. So your calf muscle is going to start talking to you. It may be screaming at this point, and you'll know, oh, I can't quite go down that far. So pay attention to your body. Again, yoga is teaching us to pay attention to our body. Let's turn this way so you can see. So our feet are hip width apart. Now at this point, as we've gone down, you've turned that back foot 45-degree angle. Good. So now your side body begins to open up. Now, if you want to just rest the hand here, you can rest the hand here. Don't put the weight of the body and press it onto that calf. You just want to place the hand or even open it up to the side of the calf. The other arm reaches all the way up. So you can tell now why it's called Trikonasana, or triangle pose. We have 1 angle, 2 angles, and 3 angles. Good, so you're going to reach in opposite directions, same way we did in the other poses. This hand is reaching down towards the ground, and this hand is reaching all the way up. And what's happening in the back is you're beginning to feel those shoulder muscles separate. Good, and it feels like a good stretch. And all you're going to do is continue to breathe into that. Inhale and exhale. And if you feel like you're gaining a little bit more of a stretch and you can go a little farther, take that hand all the way down. The one thing you want to avoid is that hip turning in to get that hand down. So if you find you can't put the hand down without turning the hip, open the hip back up and reach that hand down. Okay? So this isn't a competition. Yoga is not about competing against anyone else. It's just about challenging your own self and your body. So even if you have to come right up here. Good. Continue to breathe. Lift that kneecap to support the legs. And inhale. Good. When you're here, we're going to take it into reverse triangle pose. Good. A reverse Trikonasana. All you're going to do is bring that hand to the hip, step up that back leg just a bit, and we're going to windmill that arm to come on top of the right foot. So all of a sudden you'll notice that you're going to be facing a different direction. Now that right hand can come and rest on the hip. Good. And remember, you're breathing this whole time. The right hand can rest on the hip, or you can go into the full twist and open up. Again, don't forget that breath. Challenge yourself to take big, deep, full inhales. Bring it all the way back down. And you can take it back into this triangle. Or move it to the other side. So, let's take it to the other side just for fun. So now we're going to bring this right heel in, and the left heel comes out. Okay? Bring the hands all the way out and drop that left hand down. Remember, pay attention to your body. If it's a little bit tight, start up here. Bring that right hand all the way up. And then if you feel like you've got a little more space, move that hand down, but keep that right hip open. Good. Now listen to the muscles that are talking. It might be your hip muscle. It might be your quadricep muscle here. It might be the inner thigh muscle. It might be your calf. But pay attention to what your body's saying and give it the adjustments that it needs. Good. Another thing that people can do, once you've taken it down here, you can also drop that hand back behind and continue to move down. As a variation, good, but triangle pose, you keep it all the way up. And for reverse, remember we can take that back foot up just a bit, bring that hand all the way over, and both hips are now squaring to the ground. Bring that right hand over to the opposite side, and lift that left hand up. Now if that's too far of a stretch, you can bring it on the inner side or the inside of the foot. Challenge yourself to lift those kneecaps to protect the legs. You can drop that hand down, twist a little further. Good. Come back to center. Slowly inhale up, back up to warrior two. We'll go over that later. And step back in to mountain pose. Good. We'll move immediately into triangle pose. And what we do here, same thing, but our feet are both facing forward. So our feet are about 4 feet apart. Good. Find a good distance that feels comfortable for you. Inhale the arms all the way up, and all we're going to do is a forward bend. Again, pay attention to where you feel the tightness. But once you're here, you can turn the hands the opposite direction and slowly move out. Good. This is called pyramid pose. And there's 3 or 4 different variations that you can do while you're here. So this is one. You can drop your neck, walk the hands. Let me turn this way so you can see. Once you're here, you bring your hands here. If this is enough of a stretch, stay here. You want to go a little deeper, bring the hands in the opposite direction and slowly walk them back. Last breath. Good. This time, slowly walk the hands up. From here, you're going to reach for those, remember, big toe posture. You take your fingers, wrap them around the big toes again, and slowly pull the chest forward. Now, you want to make sure your weight's not too far in the heels or too far in the toes. You want to make sure it's right in the middle of the foot, right in the midline. So, reach for those toes and slowly pull that chest down. And remember your breathing. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Drop that neck, inhale, and exhale. Good, slowly come all the way back up. Put the hands on the hips. We're going to take one, that was the second one. Now we're going to do the third variation. So bring the hands back behind you, open up the chest, drop the head back, and breathe. And then slowly bring it forward. Always following that breath. Big, deep inhales and big, deep exhales. Move that head side to side to release any tension that might be stored there. Good. Now for the fourth and final pose, all we're going to do is drop the hands to the side and slowly walk that right hand over to the left. Well, I'll start on the left side so you can see me. We're going to walk the left hand over to the right. Now if this is enough of a stretch, stay here. Lift those kneecaps to protect the legs. Try to keep the weight of the body in the middle of the feet, and then slowly lift that right arm. The challenge is to keep those hips face towards the ground. You don't want to turn them. Good. You just want to keep those hips facing down and then open it up. You're doing a full twist with the diaphragm. Good. It's like a sponge wringing out. And then when you come all the way back down, it's released. Walk the hands over to the right side or the left side. Good. Inhale up. You can do a similar thing by placing that hand back behind you and taking the stretch a little further. Last breath. Good. Release that hand. Come back to center and slowly come up. Now remember, your head has been below your heart, which means the blood is rushing to your head. So if you come up super fast, you'll get a little bit lightheaded. So come up slowly. You can even come up by dropping the hands and rolling up, which sometimes helps to redistribute the blood a little more evenly. Good. Bring the hands back together. The last pose I'm going to teach you is called Bakasana. It's my daughter's favorite. She loves it. So Bakasana is a really fun arm balance. So we've done a lot of standing postures. Now we're going to move into a few balancing postures. So all we're going to do is inhale up. Exhale, fold forward, come into big toe posture, and then simply bend your knees. Good. So what you're going to do is, this is a little bit, it's called Bakasana or frog pose. So open your knees wide like a frog and bring your hands in the middle. Okay? It's kind of fun for kids. We play a little frog game, a frog jumping game in the YogaMedo class too. And then we end in Bakasana, which is fun. But walk the hands out. Again, you want them shoulder width apart so that they support your body. Now, if this is enough of a stretch for you, stay here. I challenge the kids to keep their feet flat on the mat and slowly be able to come in. Bring those hands into prayer pose and allow those arms, let me move side so you can see. Allow those arms to come on the inside of the legs and just breathe. Good, your sit bones are reaching towards the mat. Your feet are helping to balance. You can even lift the toes if you want to give your legs a workout. Good. So while you're here, all you're going to do is drop those hands forward. You notice how my knees are already towards the back of the arms? All you're going to do is try to keep those knees attached to the arms. Again, if you want to stand frog pose, stay there, but this is a fun challenge. Spread the toes in your hands to create a base, and then slowly come up on those toes. Now again, if this is enough, stay here. Good. Find your breathing. Make sure you haven't forgotten about that. And then slowly begin to lift your toes. anytime I'm doing a balancing pose, I try to increase the sound of the breath. Good, so that you can focus on the breathing. You'll notice that your body wants to tell you, I can't do that, or your mind will have all these comments about what you can and can't do. But if you'll focus on the breathing, you'll notice it's a little bit of calming, and it also, you don't worry about what you can and can't do, you just try it. And you're making sure that you're safe, but you just try it, and that's a lot of fun. One way that I've told children to try it, if they're doing it at home, is to try it in front of a couch, right? So if you have a couch in front of you, you're not going to fall forward. Imagine that couch is right in front of you, and you continue to balance, but if you fall forward, you're not going to hit your head. So make sure that you're in a safe place when you do these poses. Continue to breathe. Drop all the way back down. Good. And then we'll move into Dandasana. Dandasana is called pencil stretch. It's kind of fun because you're long legs, and then you want to remove the flesh from the sit bones. So make sure you're sitting right on your sit bones and you're long and tall through here. You're going to inhale through the arms. Your feet are flexed, and you exhale, fall forward. Good. Now, again, when I started out, I think reach to my calves. So it's really a tough stretch. Never be discouraged. Just take your body where it's at and slowly work with it. Our muscles become accustomed to what we require of them. So if you're not used to doing stretches, it's going to take a little while. But we begin to train the muscles to respond to what we're doing. So you can reach for the toes with those peace fingers again. It's kind of like big toe posture that we've already done, but you're sitting down. Slowly move forward and drop that head. Now again, if you hold the pose for 1 or 2 breaths, it's going to be difficult for those muscles to lengthen. So I like to hold this pose for 5 to 10 breaths. It's a challenge, but don't push yourself too much at the beginning. You just want to slowly move into it. Good. Take a few breaths where you're at, and then you'll realize, okay, I think I can move a little bit deeper. And take a few more breaths as you move forward. Good. And then you might realize, okay, I think I'm comfortable here. I can reach for the sides of my feet. And then with that 8 or 9 or 10 breaths, maybe you can wrap around the feet. Again, wherever you are at is fantastic. Good. Come all the way back up. Even if you just get to here, it's fantastic because you're stretching those muscles and you're teaching them to lengthen. And when they are lengthened, they can receive more energy and oxygen, and you feel a lot better. All right. Thanks for joining us.